Welcome to episode 31 of the RUDIS Wrestling Podcast. Matt, let's get to the elephant in the room that we didn't bring up on our first episode this week, and that is the little Desanto thing. You know what? I enjoyed it. Most of the time, I think Desanto's a knucklehead. I kind of thought this one was funny. So for those of you who haven't seen it, maybe I know Flo posted a clip. Maybe um, run over there and check it out. But on the final take, he tech follows his opponent on the final takedown. He picks him up, gives him like a thumbs up and a wave or something, then slams the guy. I think he got another team point deducted, but I don't know. I didn't mind it. What'd you think?
In this case, and I saw some of throughout the match, every Big Ten match is super intense. Every Big Ten match at a certain point during a duel, it gets personal on some level. And
Why do you think that? And do you think that happens in all sports?
I think so.
Okay, I'm not as in tune
Uh,
with other sports, so I couldn't even tell you the answer to that.
I think it in its own way. Every sport has its own form of like whatever you want to call it, trash
Yeah,
talking,
yeah,
taunting, showboating, whatever. I
yeah.
mean, everybody's probably has some definite definition for their sport. I think this was kind of a chippy match throughout, and I think at 157, Berger after the match, he walked over to Iowa's match and
Yep,
Iowa's bench and kind of gave him "this is my house" type of thing. So,
yep,
those were the first shots fired. Um,
sure.
so it just seemed like DeSanto was answering at the
Yeah.
end. It's like, "Oh, well, this is your house. We own your house." Which they have. I don't think they've beaten Iowa in quite some time, but yeah, in this case, I'm the first one to say, has DeSanto been out of line with some of his actions?
Yeah.
Obviously. I mean, it's well documented, some of the things he's done. In this case, there wasn't anything dirty there. Um,
No,
but
I'm okay with it.
but I think when you develop a certain reputation, you can't win. You can't win. He's never going to win in any of these situations again because people have already labeled him in a certain way and have already the court of public opinion has decided about DeSanto. So
Well,
they're going to pile
people
on
just
him.
hate him so much that every little thing is like, "Let's get him," you know? And I don't know, when you build that reputation for yourself because, like, the Mitchick thing was totally out of line last year. He did the same kind of thing to Charles Tucker from Cornell. So I think it is he has such a he's so disliked by people that everything is, blown out of proportion, and so I think it's almost like maybe he wants to be the bad guy. I don't know. I don't know Austin's heads. I've never had a competition. Maybe he wants to be the bad guy. Maybe that's what he
So
likes.
do you think that he and Gable Stevenson have each other on speed dial? Giving each other pointers or
Oh, that's too funny. Man, no, they probably don't know each other, do they?
probably not. Why
Yeah,
would they?
yeah. I don't
Um,
know. Who knows? I don't know if they've ever crossed paths. Okay. The rest of Iowa, Nebraska. Um, I don't know. Nothing too. I think the most remarkable thing here was one upset for each team. Cash Wilkie beats Venz on a complete bonehead move by Venz, right?
Yeah, I
He
really
was
didn't
winning.
understand that. Yeah.
What was he doing?
No, I have no idea. I
I
was
have no
watching
idea
it,
either.
I was saying the same thing. It's like, "What's going on here?" Like,
Yeah. So it makes you think you were missing something.
yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea what's going on there with the Taylor Venz terrible decision making. And then David Jensen beats Sam Stoll. Sam Stoll is just I don't know, too many knee injuries. Not the same guy that he used to be.
I mean,
And
could there be an element? I think there's something to your point there, but also he's not really battle tested. Even though we're in February, he's not quite battle
that's
tested
true.
and
That too, yeah. You're right.
um
But you think I think he just doesn't look like he moves well. I feel like he's gonna have a hard time All American at NCAs. Uh
whoa, you think
what?
he's going to have a hard time placing?
I heck yeah. I
Do
mean
you really?
What's David Jensen ranked? David Jensen rode him like a
14th
donkey.
I think 14,
I'm
but
gonna look it up.
Jensen's a tough guy on top.
Well, I mean, but if you're losing at number 14, I think it's reasonable to think you're gonna have a hard time All-Americaning. And it's also when you look at David Jensen, yeah, 14. Damn, you're on fire, Matt. I think you called something exactly like that last week too. I mean, if you just look at the Big Ten, okay? He's gonna have Gable, he's gonna have Kassar, he's gonna have Hamida. Hamida just lost to Hilger, so he's gonna have Hilger too. He's gonna have Mason Paris. Um,
Kassar.
he's gonna have David Jensen, who he just lost to, Conan Jennings. I mean, damn. You
And
know,
those are all guys, like, stylistically that will give him problems.
yes, absolutely.
I think maybe the Kassar, I think we mentioned this the previous pod, it'll be interesting, that size matchup,
But
but
Jensen's
yeah,
not that big. I mean, well,
no.
that's what when I look at him, I don't feel like he's that big. I mean, maybe 250 ish. What do you
I
think?
mean, when was the last time, yeah, I mean, he's not huge by any stretch of the imagination. When was the last time you saw a heavyweight choose top?
Hilger does on a fairly regular basis
Okay,
at Wisconsin. He's pretty tough on top. I think didn't Stoll just choose top against the Deuce?
I believe he did.
I think he
Yeah,
might have. So yeah, I
yeah,
mean it happens every once in a while. But yeah,
yeah.
I mean David Jensen's good on top. That was the right decision, 100%. He didn't want to be underneath Sam Stoll. That's for sure.
No.
Um, so yeah, I mean I think it was a great decision. Um, For yeah, I mean, good decision by David Jensen. Rest of the duel, kind of, I don't know, uneventful. I guess you'd say you thought you saw who you thought would win won. I mean, that's right.
I mean, up and down the lineup, pretty much outside of the two upsets that we've already mentioned, kind of went to the script. And there weren't any, even though it went to the script, there weren't any matches where like, yeah, I expected this guy to win, but wow, look what he did.
Yeah,
Um, like at 57, like the Berger Young match, you thought like, hey, maybe this is you know, the opportunity for Berger to make a big time statement in his home gym. Well, it went to overtime.
yeah.
So even though he got to win, there weren't any performances that really raised your antenna. Like, yeah, I knew that guy was going to win. I didn't know he was going to win like that.
Yeah, how about the burger match? I mean, Caleb Young just again doesn't shoot, and that was literally the same story last week. I don't think he took one shot against Barone, and I don't think he took one shot against Tyler Berger. Did he? Did I miss
I
a
don't
shot?
believe so.
That
No, I
that
didn't.
that's
If you missed it, I missed it.
that's 14 plus minutes of wrestling because both of them went to overtime and zero shots. Come on, man, take a shot,
Yeah.
just one, any of them, take them. Come on. Okay,
I
let's
mean,
see.
this goes back to what we said at the beginning of the previous episode when you were talking about truth versus certainty. It seems more like brand says this is your truth. This is what you need to do. This is the truth. You do
But
this and you're
how
going
come
to win.
but he doesn't say it. He says we're gonna keep attacking. I mean, that was exactly what that was the rant I went on last week, Matt, is that just accept who you are, you know?
Embrace who you are, right?
Embrace who you are. Just say this, we're gonna push, we're gonna snap, we're gonna get go behinds. We ain't gonna shoot though, and that's how we're gonna try to beat you. Just say it. But so that's not what he says. So maybe that's what he's saying in private, and that is their truth. Um, but that's not, I don't feel like that's what he's saying publicly. Um, I don't know. Am
So we're kind of bouncing around in this dual meet. Let's
I
bump
mean,
up from
Jake Warner doesn't shoot either.
yeah.
But he's also going to be. He's like kind of like. I mean, the Tanner Sloan, he got beat 19-3, so that he wasn't hard to beat in that one, but he's kind of hard to beat because he just doesn't really make mistakes, and he's hard to he pushes people around, and he doesn't get ridden, and he rides. So it's, I mean, it's not like I'm saying he's got a shot versus Bo Nickel, but, I was feeling after Midlands like he was gonna have a hard time All American, and now I'm feeling like he's probably gonna All American reasonably high, just because I don't see anyone in here with the skill set to take him out, that's not what I was saying after that's not what I was saying after Midlands when Tanner Sloan whooped his butt.
Well, I think that's the one thing that you and I can both agree is that we agree in Warner's talents, right? I think the guy is highly talented and highly skilled. Your frustration is he's not showing it, right?
Well, he's not the same guy. I mean, I think I said this last week. I watched this kid grow up wrestling because he was wrestling some of the guys I was coaching, and he was very dynamic, very offensive. And now you just don't see that at all. You see a guy who pushes hard, who rides hard, and who has very, very little offense. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, but
I
I
mean,
mean,
I can't argue with that. I mean,
yeah,
you we have a body of work to point to now that kind of justifies every criticism that you've been pointing out. So yeah, I mean, it's not like I can sit here and argue against what you're saying because I'm kind of seeing the same thing.
yeah. So, yeah, I think he All Americans is just gonna be a very boring All American, and if he gets against the wrong person like a Tanner Sloan, then yeah, I mean, you can see him losing out pretty easily. Um,
How
okay,
about
anything else you want to say about Iowa, or are we done in
yeah,
Iowa?
let's just one more match, 165, Isaiah White versus Alex Marinelli. It appears, and I just want to get your thoughts on this. It
Boring,
appears
so boring.
kind of what we were talking about in the previous episode with all of Michigan's guys, quality guys being close, but not quite enough
Well,
to get
here's what.
over the hump. It seems the same thing. Like Isaiah White is close with Marinelli every time. It's always a 2-point match, a 1-point match.
Yeah,
This is 3 nothing, but I just don't see White beating him. What do you think?
yeah, I agree. I thought he shouldn't have chose bottom. I don't feel like he was close to an escape. At all, and that does 2 things. And one, that obviously gives Marinelli an extra point, and then number 2, you get more exhausted trying to get away when you were never gonna get away. You weren't close to getting away. So, yeah, I just I don't yeah, I don't know why he chose bottom. I don't advise him. If he wrestles Marinelli again, I do not advise him to choose bottom against Alex Marinelli. Is that probably you'd probably make the same choice, right?
Yeah, yeah, Surgeon General's warning, right? Don't go down.
Don't go down. You're just not that good at getting away.
Yeah.
Okay, when you look at Iowa's lineup, they got Maryland, they got Indiana, and they got Wisconsin. That'll be a fun one. And then they end the season at Oklahoma State, which is gonna be a big, big duel. Man, that's gonna be a fun one, huh, Matt? That's gonna be a great duel at
Awesome.
25. It's gonna be a great duel at 133. Man, there's gonna be a whole bunch of good matches. 41 is gonna be good. 49 is gonna be good. Oh wow, we're gonna have fun.
So
Um,
this is a little off topic because I just noticed,
sure.
and I hadn't recognized it, but I also noticed that the last weekend of the season, Ohio State's wrestling Cornell. So you have
Ooh, that's a good one
Okie State,
too.
Iowa, Ohio State versus Cornell. What are your thoughts, or what when you were an athlete and then maybe putting on your coach's hat? What do you think about having such a tough matchup to end the regular season?
Well,
Do you think there's benefits? What do you think about that?
it is 2 weeks prior to the conferences. So it's not, you know what
Right.
I'm saying? It's like, so they do have a 2-week break. I don't see the issue. Yeah, and as a competitor, I love to compete. That's what, so I wasn't really worried. I love when we had the big matches. I didn't always love traveling. The travel schedule got kind of hectic, so I always love when we had those home stretches. That was nice. Um, Yeah, so I'm not too worried about it. And obviously, like I said, you look at Iowa's schedule, and they have 4 matches in all of February, so it's not like they're overbooked or anything. Um, and then Ohio State, I don't know. Obviously they have a couple of tough matches because they have Penn State coming up. But no, I don't see an issue. I mean, the only thing I could see if you were a Big Ten coach that might be nice for your athletes, and I know that the coaches don't create the Big Ten schedule, but if you could make more double weekends and then you could take a weekend or 2 off from totally traveling, which I think that would be really nice.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it was just I was interested. I was wanting your thoughts. Because I know some coaches, they would like to rest, maybe get some momentum going, and, but I think with the power teams, they're conditioned to it,
Yeah,
right? I mean, it doesn't
absolutely.
matter. Week in and week out, they're wrestling the best guys, so what's one more duel? It's like, yeah, more of the same.
Yeah,
I
it's
get it.
not like you're early in the season, you're doing a Las Vegas invite or something or scuffle where you're getting 5 or 6 matches, something like that.
Yeah.
Um Yeah. Let's go on to Ohio State because they're going to have a big match this weekend. Where's Joey McKenna? Please tell me he's not hurt. Do
I
you know where he's
think
at?
he's just I don't think there's anything serious, and it just some talk I've heard. He's just a little dinged up, so erring on the side of caution right now, nothing major.
So he'll be back. So he'll be back for the Penn State, correct?
I hope so, right? Um,
Oh, come on, give me an answer. You're down there and close to Columbus. You gotta be hearing something, right?
I'm not hearing
Nothing.
a whole lot. I mean, I'm
Oh,
just hearing like this weekend was more like there was like erring on the side of caution. They didn't really need him,
okay,
from a team standpoint. I'm sure if he can go, he will go.
okay.
Um, but also, I know there's this big conversation right now about you know people talking about people ducking and doing this and that, right? But also, we're in February now, so if a guy's not, I mean,
You gotta heal him up.
this you gotta heal him up. You have to. You can't
Yes.
just, just sit on your pride and principle and said, "Hey, he's close to going. He could wrestle, so let's have him wrestle." I mean, at this time of year, I mean, you really have to make some strategic decisions that in certain cases actually might be detrimental to the immediate outcome or the upcoming dual meet just because you're getting now we're getting to the point where it just seemed like a couple weeks ago we were talking about, it's early on. We got time, we got time. All of a sudden, you're at that point where like, oh, the postseason's right here. I mean, we're
Yeah,
six weeks out from NCAAs, so all of a sudden, you know, you know, your decision making process alters just slightly. I think as you
agreed.
enter February.
Yeah, I agree. And as far as the ducking is concerned, I think we've only had one match where we really said we thought that was unnecessary, which obviously Spencer and Sebastian Rivera, something we discussed last week. Um, So, okay, well, I sure hope McKenna's back. Okay, so Ohio State had a double weekend. They wrestled Illinois and Northwestern. Not too much interesting. I thought Keyshawn looked good against Eric Barone. He wins the match in overtime. And Barone had just beat Caleb Young the week before, so he was kind of on a hot streak. And besides that, I thought Emery Parker, Miles Martin, Emery Parker wrestled Miles Martin really well, I thought. I thought Miles Martin was, he won 8-4. I thought he was even farther out in front. So I thought really good match by Emery Parker. I don't anything else you want to take away from those dual meets?
No, I mean, I thought that Northwestern competed well against Ohio State. It was a pretty competitive duel. Um, Keyshawn at 157. I don't
I
know.
forgot to say he got beat by Deacon on Sunday.
Deacon. I mean,
I forgot to say that.
he got majored by Deacon, correct?
Yes, so it was close.
Almost.
If it wasn't a major, it was really close to a major. I don't remember. I want to say it was 7, but
It was
I
8 to nothing.
oh, 8-0. Okay, called it major.
So yeah, sometimes I don't know. Maybe, and this is just me on the outside looking in. Sometimes it looks like Hayes. There's a question in his mind if he truly believes he should be wrestling 157.
Really?
Does that make sense?
Well, I'd never watched it in that context before. I was actually thinking on Friday night that he looked big enough because there was obviously talk next year when McKenna and Jordan go. Sasso's been wrestling 49, so is Sasso going to go down to 41, and then Keyshawn down to 49? And I was watching Keyshawn on Friday night thinking, he looks plenty big. He looks big enough for 57. I don't think there's a power issue there. I mean, for me, what I think he's just not dynamic offensively. I think he can't go get points when he wants to get points. So he's stuck in this rut where he's hard hand fighting. And he's pretty good on top. He's good on bottom, but he can't really make too much happen on the feet. That's kind of what I think.
And maybe it's just me just reading into his body language a little bit more, but there's certain points when he's facing adversity, and I think I picked up a little bit of this last week watching him against Pantaleo too, where it's
Uh huh.
It's
Like,
it
he
just
wrestled Pantaleo really close.
yeah, yeah, but maybe it's just him. Maybe it's just the expression that he normally wears around, that I'm leading into because I'm sure you're the same way as a coach and
Yeah,
as a
body
competitor.
language
Your
matters.
body language is a huge thing, so I'm always like observing that and trying to pick things up, little things here or there that I'm seeing, and I just sensed, maybe some body language things that maybe that's just naturally who he is, and I'm maybe just reading into it a little bit more than I
Yeah.
should.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the guy at all, but I do actually remember thinking about the size issue on Friday night. Um, and so, I just looked at the rankings, Matt. 7 of the top 8 are Big Ten. The only one in there
That's
who's not
insane.
is Hayden Hidless. So, yeah, that's totally insane. Obviously, we know the Big Ten's
Wow,
tough, but yeah, I mean, you got Nolf, Berger, Deacon, Pentelio, Hayes, Young, Blythe. Damn. And then, you obviously have Barone and Perriott and Van Brill below that. That says, yeah, I mean, stack conference
it's
157.
loaded.
Um, okay, I don't really have anything else from Ohio State, Illinois, or Ohio State Northwestern, except that I love the Miles Martin Emory Parker match. I thought it was fantastic. That's
Yeah,
all
I
I
mean
got.
that's the guy. I mean Parker. I mean that's the closest match Miles has had this season. Correct?
Yeah, definitely, it definitely is. He's blowing everyone else out of the water, so that's definitely the closest match he's had. Um, Intermat has him all the way down at 5. Did he lose to someone? Oh, he lost to Taylor
Just
Venz, didn't he?
recently, right?
He
Yeah.
lost to Taylor Venz. Oh, what the
Yep.
heck? Really?
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
not have predicted that outcome. I don't
No,
think I
not
well, I
based
don't
not based upon how he wrestled Miles on Friday.
yeah,
I
and just
mean,
based on their styles, that kind of surprised I need to go watch that match. Now I sound like Ken Shortcow not knowing the results of matches.
but yeah, I
Um,
mean, I don't think Martin was in any danger along the way, but this is the first time we saw a guy that just squared up against him and actually wrestled him and engaged him for 7 minutes. I was impressed with Parker.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
he's not a guy that I've watched a whole lot. So, um, maybe it's just my unfamiliarity with him that I haven't watched him, but I was really impressed with him.
Yeah, he's a beast. Okay, let's go to Oklahoma State. They had 2 weekend duels. They had Northern Iowa on Friday, and then they had Lehigh on Sunday. Lehigh made the Oklahoma trip. They did Oklahoma on Saturday and Oklahoma State on Sunday. Man, I have so many questions about Oklahoma State. I mean, do you want me to start rattling off questions and then you could be the expert and you can give us answers? Or do you just want to start discussing this? Because listen, here's what why is Shomers at 65? Is Chandler Rogers like out for the season or something?
I don't know. I mean,
What is the deal with that?
Shomers has been in there for the past month, right? I
It
mean, I
feels
went
like a while now, and yeah, it does. It feels like it's been a while. And Schoenberg's was 57 pound, who he was their starting 57 pounder, who wasn't doing great. But I'm like, what the heck is he doing up at 65? And then Wyatt Sheets gets a big win, which I'm assuming Wyatt Sheets is Mike Sheets' kid. I don't
he
know.
is.
He is
Yep.
okay. So
Yeah.
yeah, man, that's
I mean, Sheets has come up with a couple big wins recently. I mean, this latest match was one.
they beat Josh Humphreys, which is yeah, really good win for him.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so okay, so
Yeah, it would
let's
ta- it would I mean, it would appear that Rodgers there's something significant at this point. I mean, when you're running up close to a month, you gotta think that there's something pretty substantial there.
yeah, so we'll hope he's back because obviously hurts Oklahoma State a lot if he does not come back. Um, okay, so let's start on Friday night. I think you have some really good positives and then some big negatives for Oklahoma State. So they get easy wins 25-33, 41. Man, Cade Brock, we've been on his ass all season, Matt. He he loses another one. And Oklahoma State, I don't know if you caught this match, but the Oklahoma State was doing this thing where it was like it's their broadcast, and it would say when they would take a break, it would say noise. And so they go out of bounds with 8 seconds left, and then this noise graphic pops up, and then when it flashes back to the wrestling, Brock's already taken down. So I didn't see what the takedown was, but Alber got a takedown in like 2 to 3 seconds on the restart. So I don't know if it kind of maybe a low ankle or something. Um, so Cade Brock. The other thing is he wasn't as dynamic. He kind of looked like he was trying to hold himself back, if you will, this match. I don't know, man. He's so up and down. I don't think Oklahoma State can really rely on him at all.
No, I mean, it doesn't at this point. I mean, a month ago we were talking, hey, let's see what happens, but it seems to be a pretty consistent pattern with his performance this year that it's trending, it's trending on the negative side. Um, I'm always hopeful that a guy like Brock, because I love the way he wrestles. When he's on, I mean, we've talked about it before. I mean,
And
he's
that's it. That
phenomenal
I
to
think
watch.
that's the bias that some people fall into is that they just enjoy style how he is stylistically, and they kind of overlook his flaws, or they somehow think his flaws are going to fix themselves when that just is not the case.
Right.
Yeah.
So
So
I'm hopeful just because I am one of those guys that when he's on, I'm entertained by the way he wrestles. I really enjoy watching how he wrestles. And I'm hoping, come March, he taps into his memory banks and kind of remembers what it takes.
oh man. Okay, hey Matt, I'm gonna give you a quick update of what I'm doing. Breaking news over here. I just clicked on. I love full wrestling. I just clicked on Vens versus Parker, and Vince stuck him on some kind of it was 5 he was winning 5-2, and then Emery Parker tried some type of bizarre roll off bottom flat onto his back and got stuck with a half Nelson. I don't even know what move he was trying. It was whatever move he was trying was a really bad execution on the move because it was so bad that I can't even tell you what move he was trying. Is that
Yeah,
fair?
yeah.
It was like I don't even know. It was some kind of Peterson Granby-ish type thing. It was really poor execution. So
It was like one of those moves where he's seen it but never done it, and then in the moment he thinks it's a good idea to try it,
I
right?
yeah, I guess so. Um, which actually that's a great segue. You know what? That's a great segue to our next Oklahoma State match, which is Caden Gefeller. Caden Gefeller is my favorite bottom wrestler to watch in the NCAA right now. He throws so much craziness at you all the time. I mean, he does it all. He's got elevators, he's got Granbys, he's got Petersons, he's got cartwheels. I mean, he'll throw the damn kitchen sink at you off bottom. It's fantastic. I love it.
I love it. I love it. I mean,
Yeah.
growing up, there was some guys that my older brothers used to face. And I remember one of the things they kept saying is like, "Man, watch this guy. He's dangerous off bottom. He's dangerous off bottom." And at the time when I'm younger, I'm laughing about that. It's like, "What do you mean he's dangerous off bottom?" Because they're like, "Well, you got to watch this guy on bottom." But that's Gefeller. He's like, "This is a guy. Watch out when you take him down because
Yeah.
that's actually where the fireworks could actually start."
If I'm most coaches, now you might have a few guys that are great on top. If I'm most coaches, cut him. Take him down, get rid of him.
Catch and
Don't
release.
catch and release. Don't I'm not bothering riding this guy. And you know what? I have the same criticism of him that I have of Dayton is, and this is kind of you actually the opposite of when you think of Oklahoma State wrestling, is he hand fights hard, he has great pressure, but he just doesn't have great leg attacks. He's got all right leg attacks, but not great ones. And that's like if you want to say, you typical Oklahoma State style is like a lot of movement, attacking, shooting from the outside, but maybe not great hand fighting. So it's kind of funny that those two are, maybe opposite of what the typical Oklahoma State guy is.
Yeah, and I think maybe it's that bias or maybe that expectation when you see a Okie State guy, the expectation is this guy's he's gonna put points on the board. He's you know, he's got a big arsenal on his feet. And I think maybe he's getting because that was the thing like all season with Gefeller is he doesn't have enough tools. But at this point, he seems like he's armed with enough to make a decent run at the NCAA tournament.
Oh, well, that's where if you want, well, where you really see this big weakness, Matt, is like when he wrestles someone who's really smart and disciplined, like a Matt Kolodzik. It's the same thing. It's you know what it is. It's the same issue we talk about when we talk about Joey McKenna and Jay Nyerman. Same exact issue. Um, and that's kind of the he pressures well, but against those guys who are super disciplined, who have quick finishes like a Matt Closet, he struggles. And so, listen, I would bet right now. I would bet on Caden Gefeller All Americaning, but I think he's gonna have a hard time against those best guys, the Micah Jordan, the Matt Kolodzik. Anthony Ashton actually scrambled with him, and that was a really close match. But I would bet on Caden
But I
Gefeller
think
all
with a guy like Ashnault, he's a guy. He just went out and wrestled Gefeller without. It looked like when they
without
wrestled,
thinking
there
about
was
it.
no game plan. I'm just going to straight up wrestle you. I'm just going to straight up beat you.
Yeah.
Going into the NCAA tournament, if they happen to square off with each other, I bet you see a completely different level of execution from Ashnault, because he could just go. I mean, he's got the ability to just put you in lockdown. He's that disciplined, and he's that good with his technique that he could just, you know,
Yeah, that's
cuff
true.
Gefeller up and shut
That
him down.
That is true. Yeah, I could also see that happening for sure. Um, no, yeah,
But I'm with you. I think for sure
for sure,
Gefeller's
All
gonna
American.
gonna get a place. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I agree. And I think the last thing that we need to talk about in this duel is um I'm sorry, in both duels, Joe Smith takes 2 losses. He loses to Taylor Lujan on a takedown in the last 20 seconds on Friday, who Taylor's ranked 8. Well, come on, tell me what he's ranked because you got it memorized. You've been nailing every
I
single one
wanna
lately.
isn't he 7 or 8? I
He's
wanna say
okay.
7 or 8.
He's 8. So he loses the number 8 Taylor Lujan on Friday, loses number 6 Jordan Cutler on Sunday. I'm sorry, and man, that's after the scuffle, when he wrestled really well and he had a tough match with Joe Smith, we were saying, man, maybe, or I'm sorry, Joe Smith. When Joe Smith had a tough match with Mark Hall, we are saying, man, maybe Joe can go with anybody at this weight class. And now we're seeing that, man, he just wasn't getting his offense going against either one of these guys. And it didn't look like the same guy that we saw at the scuffle that was putting pressure and that was getting attacks going.
Yeah, let me introduce this, and I'm gonna defer to you on this.
Uh-oh.
Is there's always a phrase out there that people talk about. It's like some guys wrestle to the level of their competition.
Yeah.
Um, in this case, I mean, these were the 2 guys he lost to. These are highly ranked guys that are very, very good. I would almost say in this case, sometimes it looked like Smith was wrestling to the style of his opponent, not to the level, but kind of wrestling to the style of his opponents. And he got caught up just not doing a whole lot in either match.
Yeah, I mean, I could agree with that. But I would say if I would go back to that scuffle performance, I would say that Joe Smith was putting more pressure than I had seen before, and just really using hard. Do you remember the semifinal? It was Dave McFadden, correct?
Yeah.
And I mean,
Yeah.
Dave McFadden's really a high level guy, and he put the pressure on Dave McFadden and wore him out and got multiple takedowns. And that same pressure I didn't see against Taylor Lujan or Jordan Cutler.
No.
So
No,
that was
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, so I guess I was, we, I think after the scuffle, we joked about Fat Joe Smith, right? The one that's at 174 versus the skinny one who's at 157. We thought maybe the 174 pounder had a better gas tank, and that was why the heavy hands were working and stuff like that. But yeah, I didn't see that. I think I think that's a little bit disappointing for Oklahoma State because if they're going to make any kind of run towards, a second place finish, I think Penn State's still out of reach.
Yeah,
They
and it's
need.
one of those things where you don't want to switch your narratives week in and week out, and I don't think we have, but I think after the scuffle, you're thinking all of a sudden, hey, could Smith compete with those top 3 guys at 174? And I think after the scuffle performance, we're like, yeah, We think
Yeah,
he can compete with Valencia and Hall and Amin, but then
yeah,
you have
I
a
thought
weekend
so.
like this where you're like, maybe that was premature that we were actually talking about that.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, you nailed it there. Okay, actually, I said Joe Smith was the last person in this duel. Um, Jacoby actually had two. Jacoby had a really good win, looked good against Drew Foster on Friday night, but then took a loss against Ryan Price. And obviously, again, both of those guys are. Tell me their rankings, Matt. I know you have it memorized. I got to click over real fast to 184 pounds. Um, what are their rankings? Come on, since you got it memorized.
I don't.
6 and
Price
8,
is up there.
6 and 8 again. That's so
I
funny.
set I set I set my level of expectations too high for you,
Uh,
thinking that I had everything memorized.
so Jacoby I thought he looked really good against Drew Foster, kinda got shut down against Ryan Price. Um, Tough matches for him. Um, I think he's a guy that I think will sneak in there at All-American, but I'm not, not overly sure about that like I would have said with Caden Gefeller.
No, no, I agree with you. Sorry, I was kind of thinking about Lehigh a little bit. Um, Sorry to go in a different direction, but it seems like Lehigh. It now the score doesn't indicate how Lehigh wrestled. I think Lehigh was just decimated the first half of the year with injuries,
Yeah.
and
When they
I
lost
mean they were
They
down.
lost
They were
Scotty Parker forever or,
Yeah, for the year. I mean,
for the
so
year.
they've got a two-time All-American that's gone, but it seems like they're finally starting to get healthy. Um, they put one on Oklahoma on
Oh,
Friday
bad.
night.
That was ugly.
Bad. They've looked good in the last couple weeks, so I don't think anybody was questioning Lehigh. I think everybody was like in this situation, the first half of the year is like, what are you going to do when you get 4, 5, 6 guys out of the starting lineup? It's going to be hard to generate a positive result, but I'm excited. I'm happy to see that Lehigh looks like they're getting healthy and looks like they're on the climb up. And yeah,
Nice.
glad to see that Pat Santoro and crew, their guys are starting to get healthy again.
All right. Well, we just got a few minutes left here, Matt. Let's go. Fast predictions. Fast predictions. Ohio State, Penn State. I'm coming down to Columbus. We're gonna talk. We're not gonna broadcast the duel, but we're gonna broadcast before the duel. Okay. 25. Go.
Ohio State.
Ohio State decision. 33. Go.
Who's out there?
Probably not Roman Bravo Young. We'll say not Roman
Okay,
Bravo Young.
Ohio State.
Ohio State. Major or tech fall?
Uh, no,
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 no Bravo
Roman Bravo
Young.
Young. No,
Yeah.
yeah, bonus. Yeah.
I got a tech fall.
They need bonus.
Okay.
So
Tech fall. Okay. McKenna Lee.
Ohio State.
Okay, so, decision, I'm assuming.
Yep.
Jordan and, Berge, or Jordan and Verclaren, depending on who wrestles. Either I think it's kinda the same thing.
Bonus points, Ohio State.
Major, okay, so we go major. So we're at the same score right now. We're both at 15-0. Okay, Nolf, Keyshawn, I got major Nolf.
I got Tech or Penn.
Whoa, okay. All right, Tishan or Caleb Romero versus
No,
Vincenzo.
I think they made the change. I think they made that change that they brought Campbell back down from
Okay, so
74 to
so
65.
so Tishan or Tishan.
Yeah, I mean that's Penn State by decision.
Okay. 74, Ethan Smith, Mark Hall. I agree on that one. Same, I got same.
Penn State decision.
Same. 84.
Hmm.
Shakur Miles.
Well, it's going to be Ohio State. I'm just trying to decide. I'm
I
going to
say
say
decision.
Ohio State decision.
97.
Penn State pin.
Oh, pin over Colin Moore. I go decision.
Hey, I got to make it interesting, right?
Yeah.
I
Well, I think okay.
it
So,
it'll be
and what are you going heavyweight?
if
What are you going to heavyweight?
well, I'll say this about 197. I think if Colin Moore tries to wrestle Bo Nickel straight up, I think it potentially could turn very ugly.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's got to get it on his legs. I think it's gonna be
Yeah.
close. I think it's gonna be close. I think
Okay.
he's smart enough
So
to stay out of the Overlook on
I
Hurricane.
don't want
I
to
hope.
give away our broadcast on Friday evening before.
Well,
I think this is
we're
the
gonna
stuff
get
that we get in.
deep into these matches.
Yeah. And then I would say Penn State, Penn State by decision at heavyweight.
So I think you have Penn State winning, and I have Ohio State winning. Wow, it's gonna be
Oh,
fun.
that yeah, it should be fun.
Okay, cool, Matt. Well, I
I'm
will
ready for the
see
discussion.
you.
Yeah, I mean,
We'll get
that's
this going on
interesting to
Friday.
take.
It's gonna be a blast going live for our first time ever.
Cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Hey, should we actually have anybody listening if they want to, tweet us,
Tweet us
reach out to us with
questions. Yeah,
with a question
absolutely.
about the match, anything specifically? I think that would be interesting. So, I know that there's very short notice between people listening to this and people actually being able to shoot off a question. But if there's any questions out there, we'd love to field them. I think it's going to be a fun conversation. We're going to be treated to another great duel. We had Michigan, Ohio State 2 weeks ago, Michigan, Penn State last week, and then Ohio State, Penn State this week. So
Yeah,
if you
some
love
real
wrestling, you got to love this.
absolutely. All right, I will catch you this weekend, Matt. See you later.
All right, Ben, take care.